In this haircut tutorial, I'm going to show you how I turned my client from unconfident to unforgettable with this haircut transformation, skin fade and beard with a low cut style on top. Now, my client hasn't wet his hair today, so I use a wet hot towel to lay the hair down as if my client just got out the shower. So it resets the hair for the day, so all the hair lays down. So what I love about this hairstyle is that if this hairstyle suits you, it's going to be your best look. No matter what, it's going to be your best look. So my client wanted to grow out his beard today for this haircut. He wanted me to leave the length. So I said, I'll just take out all the stray hair just so we can make it look as chiseled as possible, make it look as good as possible and as clean as possible. We usually take the beard down to a shorter length, similar to mine, you can see now. And my client's been rocking that. But my client wants to have a dark beard. So with the beard, I just cleaned it up. But now you're gonna see that later. So now I'm just cutting the top with the scissors. I get the majority of it down with the guard. I probably didn't need the guard, but I felt it was necessary to lay the hair down. And I like to use the scissors on my client because using the guard going down, there's a very, very high likelihood that I'm going to, scalp my client. We're going to see my client scalp, and we don't want that. So I use the scissors. The scissors, I find, helps me prevent seeing my client's scalp. And yes, you might say, well, I can see it now, just because the hair's wet, compared to if I was actually using the guard down. Because with straight hair, it doesn't cut the hair at an even length. Even with afro hair, doesn't cut, going with the guard down doesn't cut the hair super completely even compared to the scissors. So that's why I prefer to do the scissors, so I know. And look, so we do a mid to high skin fade. And what's awesome about this haircut is that it accentuates, it just really suits my client. It's low maintenance, suits my client, super clean, does incredibly well in the market. Like I said, if you have the right face shape, the right face structure, and the right beard style for this haircut, it will be your best look. I can guarantee you that. It will be your best look just because of how clean it is and it has a lot of pop. All right, now I'm getting started with my fade process. I like to spin the chair when I cut hair. It's not super common here in Australia to spin the chair. And actually, funny enough, I had a client the other day, first time client. He ordered some food from our kebab shop next door, and he loved the haircut that I gave the kebab shop owner. So he came all the way down along with the kebab shop owner, and he came up and asked, bro, I said I loved his haircut. I had to know who cut his hair. And he asked if I could fit him in that day. At first I couldn't. I was completely booked up for the rest of the day, but there was a 15-minute slot before closing. And the haircut that he originally wanted would have just taken me 15 minutes over from the time that I closed. Long story short, forget about that. When I was cutting his hair, that guy's hair, he said to me, bro, I've never got a haircut like this before. I just don't know what to think. I've just never got a haircut. I've never had this experience. He was talking about me spinning the chair. And yeah, it set myself apart. We had a great conversation, that client and I. He tipped. He came back the next day to say hi because he was getting food again the next day. And he's a business owner. So I can't wait to cut his hair again. So now I'm repeating the same steps that I did on the left-hand side of the fade onto the right-hand side of the fade. I like to fade from the left side to the right side, even if my client's hair combs towards his left side and the parts from the right side, I still like to do the left side. I think it's just muscle memory. So I'm making sure that I'm using my corners, flicking out so we can create a nice dark transition. So this here is our Bexley North shop, our Bexley North location. At the time of recording this video, our Revesby shop, my main location, was undergoing renovations. So I got to work alongside our Bexley North team. It was super fun. We're back at Revesby now, but it was super fun working at Bexley North. Being with our Bexley North boys, it was awesome. Just fun is the perfect way to describe it. Definitely a different dynamic from our Revesby shop. Bexley North is faster, louder. So I want to bring the good from Bexley North over to our shop in Revesby. Not all of it, because our shop has its own dynamic. Professional, slower pace, relaxed environment, but I want to bring that camaraderie that the team has into our Revesby shop. Alright, so now I'm blending up into the fade using my corners. Oh no, now I'm blending. What am I doing now? I'm detailing. So this is how I've been doing the skin line. I saw it by Tito Cuts on YouTube, and so he doesn't leave a harsh guideline, he leaves the hair he leaves the longer hair at the bottom, and he kind of fades it out on top, as you can see now. So I'm using my trimmer, just taking a little bit of the longer hair that we're about to skin, and with that hair, he kind of blends out already. So this longer hair that I'm cutting out is where the skin line's gonna be, and that's as high as it's gonna go, in theory. I'm still perfecting it. I haven't completely perfected it at all. I haven't even really watched Tito do it properly. I just got a little bored. So that's, accountability on my end, that I gotta go do that and research that. Because this stuff can make my fades much more efficient. So that's what I got to work on. But in the meantime, I'm going to teach you everything that I can, everything that I know. If it's from what I do know when it comes to cutting hair, or even learning from my mistakes, my error. All right, so now I was just detailing the top of the skin line. All right, so you can already see the haircut come together a lot. You can already see the fade. So with my client's lineup, it's overhanging now, but we make sure that it's nice and sharp. My client's beard isn't extremely full just yet. It's full and it'll do, and especially from a distance it looks full, but there are ways to thicken up your beard if you want to. You can dye it, although it'll stain the skin and will eventually come off. Not everyone's skin can handle dye as well. My skin, I'm allergic to dyes now. I used to be able to dye my beards, my hairline, eyebrows, but now I'm just allergic to it. Now I'm using the foil shaver, and I'm actually flicking out towards the top of I'm flicking out at the bottom of the fade, almost like I'm fading out. So I'm fading up into the fade from the skin line, from the skin length. Now I'm just detailing the fade around where this foil shaver was. Detailing the fade, and when you're detailing the fade, just take your time and flick out. Now I'm blow drying my client's hair just to prep the line up, and here I'm going down with the grain, making sure that I'm making the beard as full as possible. We want my client's beard to be full, because a full beard is what you want. If you have a beard, you want it to be full. You don't want your beard to be patchy, and it's going to help my client look masculine, look sexy, look handsome, and look his best. And it's going to make sure that he feels confident, because that's what haircuts are for at the end of the day. All right, now I'm doing some clip over comb to blend the sides up into the top. Much easier. I love this technique. This helps me create a nice shape. All right, now to the lineup. I start in the middle, and this is everyone's favorite part of the haircut. Viewers, my clients, and myself. We don't want to push the hairline up too far back, so I start at a safe height. We do have a little overhang, and I start from the middle, make my way all the way to the side. And what I've been doing recently, I hold the trimmer in two hands, just so I'm much more stable. I don't always do it, but sometimes I kind of have to. and has actually helped a lot with my lineups. And then one secret that I have about how to do better lineups is using a trimmer that's better for you, or using a trimmer that you know how to use. So I like to use a smaller blade. The Ender Slimline Pro Li is the perfect trimmer for me. I like something light. The smaller blade, I feel like I have more into detail with the vertical bars here. Using the Ender Slimline Pro, I like using a smaller blade. I felt like with the big blade, it just didn't feel. It felt cool at first, but when I started using the slim lines randomly, I just fell in love with the slim lines and having a smaller blade. So that's what helps me. These newer slim lines have the exact same power as a modern day trimmer, rather than the old model of the slim lines where the motor is not as strong. So these are my favorite go-to trimmers now. I love them. I love them for lineups, and I love the black. Now I'm doing clipper over comb along the fringe to remove some of the weight on the overhang, so my client doesn't look like he's got a bowl on his head, because that's not the look that we're going for personally. I could use scissors, but I had the comb in my hand and I thought just do clipper over comb. It's easier, faster at the time. Now you can already see the lineup is looking really well. Now I'm just touching up the fade around the lineup. And then I saw a few spots in the fade itself that needed a touch up. And look at my client's hairline, it's symmetrical. And the secret that I do is I use my client's facial structure as my guide when I do his lineups. Same with his mouth, soul patch, everything about the lineup. I do my best to use my client's facial structure, so the lineups are tailored and symmetrical to him. Now, going along the along the mouth, you don't want to, not every client wants the hair above the lip pushed up. Some clients like it, some clients don't. Now, I'm keeping as much of the darkness of my client's beard as possible. So really all I'm going to do is just change the shape underneath along the neck. So I lean my client back, touching up the line up here. And now I'm going to line up my client's neck, keeping as much of the darkness, as much of the fullness as possible. And I'm making sure not to line up my client too high, because then he's going to look like he has a double chin. And we don't want to line it up too low, because then my client's going to look like he has a neck beard. So now I'm just freehanding, following my client's jaw. Rule of thumb, you want to have hair below the jaw. No, you want the hair wrapped around the jaw. So that way it's going to cover the entire jaw. And that's the secret to lining up underneath the neck. You want the hair to wrap the entire jaw. So underneath as well, it's going to make it appear that you have a much more full beard, and it's just going to be nicer to the eye when you line it up underneath the neck. Now I'm just playing with the camera, trying to get it to focus. Alright, now this is shave gel. No shave gel in particular, just a normal barber shave gel. And I like to use shave gel because I find it easier. Here in Australia, the crisp, defined, sharp enhancement look isn't too popular. It's not really the style right now. It could be, but right now it's not the style. So we just go for natural, soft. Even the ash line I don't like to do. So I just like to use shave gel. It makes it much more comfortable for the client. Not hating against the enhancement look, it's just not in style, and my clientele just don't really like that look either. Same with the hairline. Using the shave gel, softening up the skin, lubricating it. But when you're holding the blade, when you're using the blade, pull the skin tight and hold the blade flat. I like to start in the middle, make my way to the sides. So with the majority of my clients, we do the hairline. If they have hooks, I'll do the hooks. Beard, they'll do the mo. Now I'm doing the eyebrows. With the eyebrows, men's eyebrows need to be dark. It's what's going to help men look their best. So keep them dark, keep them full, and follow the natural shape. Most of the time, you will have an outline of where the hair is darker. That's usually the outline that you want to follow when you're doing the eyebrows underneath and on top. But sometimes you may have to create an entirely new eyebrow, which you may have to do here and there. Alright, let's clean up the hair underneath. We want my client to look as perfect as possible, so I'm getting as much of the little hair that's unnecessary that I need to cut, and I'm getting rid of as much of it as possible so my client can look perfect. So here's a beard softener, and this just softens up the beard. It smells incredible. It's guava, it's coconut, softens the hair, nourishes the beard, hydrates the beard, and it can actually make your beard look darker because it's hydrated. Again, I'm making sure that my client's haircut is perfect. We're not leaving anything up to chance. Attraction is effortless grooming. Effortless grooming. And here's how the haircut turned out. It turned out incredibly well. So if you want a haircut from me, you're in Revesby or you're in Australia, I help men go from unconfident to unforgettable. Book your haircut with me. Link in the description. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and I'll see you next time.